What can we do? Everything. We really could. We have a particular perspective that applies to everything. The question is, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
She's got a megaphone in her hand, black boots on the street. She's got traction, she's got friction, she's bringing the heat.
What are the possibilities for behavior analysis, and what do you see?
As creative as we can be, right? The possibilities for behavior analysis are as creative as we are. So I think, I actually think that there are so many things that people would not know exist as careers. My parents are immigrants, so when we came out here, I knew of totality of like 5 professions that I could join because that's all they knew, right? But then now I see that you can build any career around anything. Like the number of people that are working in multimedia sets, right? And the number of jobs that they have. And what they do is important. Each piece is a part of this clockwork. Would we know those jobs exist?
Yeah.
No. So can we do? Everything. We really could. We have a particular perspective that applies to everything. The question is, what do you want to do?
Yeah. What are some of the things that you've been focusing on in your lab?
So we have a lot of things going on. I think the main area is I'm interested in training people and building effective leaders. Now, we have all these different ways we look at leadership. For me, leadership is about being able to help other people achieve something, have an army that marches behind you in a mission you have, and be able to task them with things such that they can carry it out for you. They become a part of your clockwork, but that you are a part of a bigger picture so that you're kind of building. And I think that that's the core of everything I touch. I'm right now working with the fire department. The fire department essentially came to us and said, we'd like, this was a FEMA project, so this was a larger grant, and they said we'd like for folks to collaborate. We don't want fire department only putting together training. We want them to get involved with a behavioral scientist, and we want them to test the outcomes of those trainings. So the fire department was looking for a behavioral scientist, so they reached out to everybody in the Department of Psychology, right? And this is quantitative psychologists, social psychologists, personality psychologists, and I look at the content and it's about training, and I'm like, well, I do training and I test the effects of my training. I'll help. And I got involved in the project there, and I realized that what they were looking for was when they're training people out in the community, so they go out into the schools. It's costly because there's lots of people who actually die in fire, and I don't think we realize that, but they don't get out. They don't get out in time. That's the issue. A part of the problem was that they would say, well, when we say stop, drop, and roll, we have this message. We go out into the schools, we're teaching kids, but do they do that under the right conditions? Do they behave under those conditions? And so as a behavior analyst, really my contribution has been, hey, we can do simulations without much. We can actually fake the smoke. We can fake the idea of a sink. We can even just put a piece of paper and say, here's a sink. What would you do when you have a burn? And they think that that's absolutely revolutionary, I have to tell you. I have had this privilege of meeting with like chiefs of the fire departments and people from the entire nation. And what I love about it is when we sat together, and of course I gave them ideas and then I wanted them to generate it. But what they were saying to me was that this is what we do when we train our firefighters. We put them through simulations. We don't actually set something on fire. In fact, we don't put them in those situations until way after when they have already been trained, but we simulate it by just saying fire, 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 and see what they do. And it's really funny because they were not doing that with the kids. So we designed some performance tools together to be able to actually put out a training and then test the effects of that training. With the fire department, I think the coolest part of this project, and the reason I share it, is because, we sat across people that we knew at the onset had no idea what we do. I think sometimes we sit across people and everyone's intimate with behavior. Everyone thinks they know something about behavior, and they do. They behave. But with the fire department, we came in with this perspective of, you do fire, we have no idea. idea what that is, and you deal with burn prevention, because that's the agency that we were working with, was Andrew Foundation. But we understand human behavior, and that really set us up to have to work with each other and understand each other at a different level. Like, we typically do behavior skills training, and now these firemen cannot go out there, or firewomen, firefighters cannot go out there and be like, okay, I'm going to do individualized training of hundreds and hundreds of kids when they're going out there. It just cannot happen. So I can't come in saying, here's what we should do. What I needed to do was to collaborate with them and provide, these are the gold standards of what we can do. And they've taught me so much back by going, well, you know, have you thought about doing drills? We can have people stand in lines. And I'm like, why have we not thought of doing that? That makes perfect sense. Yeah, we do that in basketball. I watch my kid get, you know, trained in basketball, standing in lines, and then they each perform. But I would have never thought of that. So in turn, I think the collaborations taught me a lot and taught my team a lot, and we're super excited about some of the work we're doing.
I'm almost borderline addicted to like working with other professions and like people like that and have them next to me, because of the just like revelation. I think of things totally differently.
Right, and they just push the envelope, and you're like, here, I have something to offer, and you see them do it, and then you kind of get this. We also see the gaps. Like, they're like, okay, so if we take a sample of individuals and we watch them do this and we consider it, how many of those people do we need to know if everybody learned? And I'm like, we don't have an answer for that. There's so much we haven't answered that I don't think we would even realize until we work with these individuals who are working with large populations. They're doing community training. They're out there. They can't be working with 5 people. They need everyone to put those smoke detectors in their homes. They need every child getting out during the fires. So, you know, it's pretty cool. So there's that project that we're doing that I think...
It's awesome. It's great work.
It's fun. It's been fantastic, and I think the students that were involved in it, Coral, Florian, and Adisa Patah, have taken it to a whole different level. And that's the part that super excites me, because they also are working with these other individuals on the grant that now are devoted to training others. So they're going out there and training other people about what behavior analysts.
And underneath that, that's that leadership component that you're talking about. Perfect.
All right, before you go, I have a quick request. Like, share, subscribe. It actually makes a difference. That engagement helps this video reach more people, especially outside of our behavioral community, so we can share the awesomeness that is the field of behavior analysis. Big shout out to Ellie, Hoosier Association Behavior Analysis, where we captured this. And if you find yourself in a spot where you can help financially support the channel, patreon.com/thedailyba. right here. That is how you help support and bring more of this to the world at large. This stuff is really hard to capture on the road. That money goes back into the channel, bringing more content to you all. So check it out, different levels, really appreciate it. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and that's your Daily BA.